Are women being treated unfairly as they get older? Broadcasters Livvy and Chrissie say that they not only have to deal with sexism in the workplace, but they also face age discrimination too. So in their new book, Sexit, they explore how women are treated differently in walks of life, and they're now on a crusade to help any women who are feeling invisible, helping them to break down sexist barriers. I'm delighted to say they both join me now. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Hi. Hello.
Could you tell us a little bit about
having us. Good to
No
see
trouble
you.
at all. Could you tell us a little bit about your book, about Sexit? What is the fundamental premise that you're arguing here?
Well, the title is The Scandal of Sexit. So it's a scandal. That's the beginning of it, isn't it, wouldn't you say? And we're really trying to highlight awareness that women of a certain age aren't being represented in the place we come from, which is media. On our TV screens, in films, in magazines, in newspapers, there's not enough. So we don't have that mirror image of ourselves where we can look at ourselves and say, there's someone older than me on the screen. How great is that? And we think that ripples into society.
Yeah. We do think that perhaps people putting on programs, films, they don't realise the effect that having older men and younger women constantly on our screens is going to have to women in wider society. Because Sexit is a feeling. It's a feeling that you're being made invisible. And it does not feel good.
Have there been any studies into this to show the degree to which the extent of the lack of representation of older women in the media? Can you give us any sense of, or is this just something you've noticed?
It's both. We've done a lot of research, which is in the book, with figures and numbers of exactly how many women. But I think also we have experienced it.
Yeah, there's lots of research in the book, and it is a well-known phenomenon, and there are people already campaigning against it. But what we're saying is that we've got to really look at how this affects all women and how it makes all women feel. It makes women feel like they hit a certain age and they are relegated to room 101. Society is not interested in their skills and their talents anymore. Isn't that right?
I would think, yes, exactly. You've got your fabulous Chanel handbag, and that's the cover of our book with the exit sign. And you're leaving with all this talent and wisdom and expertise because you've hit a certain age.
So are you saying that ageism, of course, is something that can affect men and women, but women have the kind of double whammy of the ageism combined with a sort of retrograde attitude towards women that still lingers in society? Am I getting that right?
Yes, absolutely. It's a combination. We do get a double whammy. It's great, isn't it? Hands up to that.
Because
absolutely.
We often feel that we've advanced in terms of equal rights between men and women. But you're saying that when it comes to age, it just compounds the problem. What can be done to tackle this? Is it just about representation on the screen, or is it about attitudes among employers, say, things like that?
Absolutely. I don't think people are malicious. I think it's a lack of awareness, a lack of understanding. They just doing what they've been taught, or what their bosses did to them, or what they were taught as children. It's just ingrained, a bit like the emperor's new clothes. He's naked, but everyone's saying, yes, he's got clothes on. I think we're dealing with that situation as women of a certain age, which is they just need to wake up. And what we're trying to do in our small way is shed some light on a subject that maybe hasn't had the light shed on it. It's the language. I mean, we did a little sketch the other day, filming, and the sketch was about mutton dressed as lamb. Are we mutton? Are we lamb? What is this? And we were checking out, do men have this expression? We couldn't find an expression where a man would be called that or would have that little tinge, and it's just inbred in us.
It's very subtle. It's really subtle. And what we're saying is that a lot of women don't realise it's happened to them. In fact, it's a bit like, you're losing your passion, you're losing your creativity. Why? You might think, I'm getting older. But actually, is it that? Or is it because you're not being... There's a silence when you put things forward. I mean, we've been in meetings, that meeting when...
The meeting. When we first realised, when we were writing the book, I don't know, I'm sure you've been at meetings where we're talking about what do the Remit audience want to hear? They're 50 plus. And we think, oh, we're the only ones in the room who are 50 plus. Great. Hello. And your voice, it's like the desert at that moment. Whoosh, as if you hadn't spoken.
Yeah.
So it's just those little subtle things that happen in a meeting, or somebody just, it's the silence.
It's the silent treatment, and you start to lose your confidence. You start to lose your sense of feeling
that passion,
lovely,
that creativity, that fabulousness.
Yeah.
And we've been thinking it like to a bad love affair. You know, when your lover doesn't love you anymore and they disappear and you still love them and they're kind of a bit cool with you. That's what it's like.
So you're talking about changing, raising awareness, changing culture to improve attitudes towards older women. Is there something that women themselves, when they're getting older, can do to change this trend?
Absolutely. I think that's what our book is, because it's a how-to book as well. Aside of a load of celebrity stories where we get up to great mischief because we're women of a certain age and we think, well, why not? Why don't we? I think it's about feeling confident and not buying into it.
Yes.
You know, because Sexit is a feeling. Sexit is an emotion. When you feel really rubbish and angry and depressed and down and on the floor, and men feel it too, don't get me wrong. It's at that moment you need the support of the gang that pulls you up and goes, oi, you are creative, you're talented, you're fantastic, keep going. Don't give up.
Yeah, reinvent yourself maybe. I mean, we've always sort of like egged each other on. We're like the naughty girls at school, you know, and we've had feedback from people that listen to our radio show. You really showed us that we didn't have to fit into this box that, you know, society is trying to fit us in. You know, we can be who we are, you know, and that's great. And if we can do this to an even wider audience with this book, then, you know, that we're happy with that, you know. And there are exercises in this book where the reader can, you know,
go inside, find a calm place and find that confidence to be who you are and not be limited. So I do think it's about confidence and not buying into having to be a certain way.
Yeah.
Well, Livvy and Chrissie, thank you so much. The book is called The Scandal of Sexit, and I'm sure people will check that out.
Here it is.
And there it is. Thanks very much for joining me tonight.